Hey guys, welcome back to Rough Stuff podcast number 17. I'm Garett, Rough Stuff CEO. I've got Zack with me, the Rough Stuff president.
Good afternoon.
And Mallory here, Rough Stuff CFO.
Hi, but you said good afternoon. How do you know when these people are going to be listening to this?
Because right now it's the afternoon.
It just barely. No, it
Might
isn't.
release it in
It's
the morning.
11:30.
Dan, you just blew it. We were going to do a nice intro with a drum roll.
And our guest today is, drum roll please, Dan, the Rough Stuff founder, Fredrickson.
I think we're going to have to redo this whole thing
Why
over
was
again.
So,
It's like we have not done
cowboy.
this in a long time.
Why would I have to be the guest? You know, it's like
I think we just leave it.
I'm kind of here from the start. I'm not really the guest.
Wait, you're the in and out the most.
That was the most,
I can walk in and out whenever I want.
That was the most folksy intro ever. I say keep it.
All right.
We're going with it.
Well, Garrett, what's been going on?
Oh, let's see here. So, obviously, the big thing for us that's been going on is the laser. That's something new. I mean, what did that showed up in October, end of October,
We got the
Yep.
warehouse in May for it.
or end of September? I'm sorry,
And I
End of
think we got it
September.
End of
September,
September,
yeah.
yeah.
It was in operation in the second week of October.
And it's not a pretend play laser. It's not a hobby laser. It's a 6,000 watt.
because
laser.
everyone.
It's
was
not made
thinking
by
that.
Hot Wheels. Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying?
No,
Tried to get the Hot Wheels edition, but they're all out. Yeah, so we got the laser at the end of September, got it running in October, and have been on quite the learning curve so far.
Definitely, yeah.
Installation was quite the adventure, you could say.
Chris's
We, set it
analogy was just hilarious with that. Have you ever seen the what's that movie?
Austin Powers.
No, the one where the Captain Jack Sparrow. He's like riding in the
Pirates
harbor.
of the Caribbean.
So he's like, yeah,
as
Pirates.
the ship is sinking,
As-
and just as it sinks, he walks on
Walks
the
in the
pier.
plank. He's like, that was like the timing of like all the installation and the laser. Like everything just showed up on time. Like the rigging company,
Within hours.
within like the electric,
electricians.
yeah, everything, the gas, like
Yeah.
it was like it was like perfect timing. It was hilarious.
It was a little too just in time, but
Yeah.
it worked perfect.
yeah,
And now we're up and running.
Yeah.
Making our own parts. We also got. Did we talk about the vertical mill?
No, we
Not
haven't yet. Yeah, we got a Haas VF4 vertical mill. It's been pretty awesome, full CNC, and thing's a monster. It's been able to kick up our diff cover production ridiculously high. It's awesome. It's a great addition.
I mean, it's capable for a lot more than that, but right now we're just using it for diff covers, to
Yeah.
speed, everything.
Yeah, so we originally had, we got these two like old CNC knee mills. They're pretty much like look like a big Bridgeport mill, and we got they're old school. They're CNC. We had them for a while, and we were trying to go the route of buying a cheaper piece of equipment to use them in production. It took a while to figure out even how to use them. And then we got them in the production, and they're old, so now parts are hard to find. They can't keep up with like the production that we need to keep up with. So we finally just pulled the trigger and got something that was actually capable of doing our covers, and then on top of that, other products as we go further.
Yeah. It's nice to get new gear. We got the two Haas lathes as well. Those things have been a great addition. And
Well,
eventually
we
we're going to
got
be...
the new lathe early this year, didn't we? Like January or something? No, December of last year.
Yeah, December of last year, we got the ST15 to pair up with the ST20 that we already had. But yeah, when we got the laser, moved that into a new warehouse. It's pretty exciting. Nice, big, clean warehouse.
Brand new
And
warehouse.
eventually we'll be putting all the other big equipment in there too, and have a sweet little manufacturing bay that's just purely dedicated to nothing but building stuff.
Yeah. So what we're moving the lathes over, right? We're leaving the mill, correct? Because that's
Yeah.
where the covers are welded.
Yeah.
And then the press brakes event will be
Although we have spaced out enough room to add 2 to 3 more mills as well, if we did want to bring them over there.
This new warehouse is kind of a hop, skip, and a jump from our current building. So we've pulled out Dan's old mountain bike, and Wyatt, Chris, and Caleb, our R&D team and manufacturing, they're riding a bicycle. Or they're driving the Jeep back and forth.
Yeah.
And, it's not that. It's really not
It's
that far when
less
you
than
drive.
100 yards,
I know, but when they're walking around all day back
I
and
know.
forth, it gets
but it
exhausting.
is still in our overall parking lot.
I love it when I'm walking by and Chris pulls up and asks me if I want to ride.
Yeah, in the Jeep. Yeah.
Wyatt almost did like a burnout on it to the meeting yesterday. He did like a brake stand.
On the bike or the Jeep?
on the bike. On the bike, not in the Jeep. So that was impressive.
I'll bring another one from home. They'll have 2.
How many do you have at home?
One more.
Oh,
Oh,
then,
they'd
then
love
you'll
that.
have none.
Well, I'll have 2 here.
Right. Because even though you don't use them, it's still important.
It is important. The idea of exercise is important.
We gotta
I don't
get
think
the
it's that. I
laptop.
think it's just Dan doesn't know how to sell things that he has.
Speaking of which, if you're local and want to check out our Facebook Marketplace, we have a bunch of stuff for sale right now.
Those mills will be
No
up for sale here
bicycles.
pretty soon, actually.
And didn't we put up, there's like a filtration, kind of like ventilation system that we got at an auction. Are those engines up?
Which engine?
They should be up soon.
Sorry, I should have said that.
Which engine?
They were my old engines. Don't worry about it. Never mind. They were from an old Corvette I had. We also have been doing a bunch of remodeling on the sales office.
Yep.
So Garett and Ryan Harris, our sales manager, came in and knocked down some walls, what was an old break room, and expanded our sales office. So we have more room to grow and more room for, we want to do like a sort of like, what is it, like a display type area?
Yeah. Ryan wanted more. Yeah, when we have customers come in, he wanted to be able to show the product off more.
Yeah.
So he wanted
without
to
having
display
them
it.
walking in the warehouse.
Yeah, gone are the days of customers, roaming about through the warehouse and manufacturing department. It's just too much of a liability.
Getting
And
a little too
Insur-
busy now too with forklifts scooting around.
our
and-
insurance agent doesn't want it.
Yeah.
Shout out to Stuart. We also got new flooring in there, came in on the weekend, painted. Garrett rewired some new lighting. So the sales office is looking pretty good.
Yeah, the flooring Ryan picked out, and actually he installed all of it, literally by himself.
I picked it out.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Well, he installed it.
That's true. It was
Yeah.
a team effort. Yeah.
Well, I guess he picked out the style, the laminate.
He picked out the paint, and the color was called Dainty Lace, and he's very proud of that. And Zack agreed. So, I mean, these are a couple Dainty Lace guys.
I'm into it.
Delicate
I'm into
little
it.
roses. That's all right.
It's a good paint color. It's a neutral.
Yeah,
Makes you feel
besides a
happy.
couple weekends, Ryan's just been putting that floor together in between calls, making it work, and shuffling the guys back and forth as he needs to put floor underneath their desk.
And
Yeah.
the other day we added our 5th salesperson. I mean, we've always had, for the last 2 or 3 years, we've had 5 when you included Ryan when we got really busy. But now we have 5 and Ryan.
Yeah.
So we'll have that for the big rush of the holidays and thereafter.
Yeah, what's pretty cool about that too is that's our man Ricky out of shipping, which is pretty cool. So he's working in sales now. He threw his app in and got the spot.
Yeah, Ricky's been with us almost 5 years or just over 5 years.
I think
Probably
about 5.
somewhere around
And he
there.
was the lead in the UPS side of our shipping line and done a great job there. And it's time to try something new.
We've
Yeah.
also expanded our marketing team. We added he's like a marketing assistant, but he specializes in videos, right?
Yep.
So, stay tuned for some good videos, hopefully soon on our YouTube channel. and
Yeah.
check it out on social media.
Yeah, definitely going to be on social and YouTube. He's a pretty talented young man. So I think he's a great addition to the team.
And it's
maybe,
Joel.
maybe we can get
Yeah.
this podcast on YouTube finally.
Yeah.
Yay, Joe Rogan style. I want to do the cartoons like
Yeah.
Joe Rogan
They can
and Mike
see my
Tyson.
new hipster beard.
Not if we do. What's hipster about it? We also recently promoted, we had 2 separate janitors that came in. I'm not sure if they were previous janitorial experience or
No,
entry
not at
level.
all.
And then they both have, one of them moved into kitting in the shipping department, one of them moved into shipping. And I mean, maybe 30 to 60 days after they've been here.
It's a
It was
great,
like-
frustrating problem to have that we can't keep janitors around because they're so good at their job and just being responsible that we put them in other places and, they
they
excel.
have good attitudes and great work ethic, and they're smiley and happy, and so
They're
yeah.
killing it, man.
And then
Yeah.
we've got your assistant, Mallory.
yeah, I have a new assistant, Ella, and actually her younger sister just started as the new janitor. So
Oh.
we'll see. She could be,
In sales next
She
week.
could be CFO
I
next
know,
week.
you never know.
never know.
Honestly, like the limit does not exist.
Well,
so
it's really nice to see people move up
Yeah.
through the ranks
A lot of
instead
growth
of
lately.
moving on. Moving
Yeah.
up is better.
yeah.
I like getting recommendations from people who already work here. Ella or Emma or Emma.
Emma is
Emma's-
Ella's younger sister. Yes.
Yeah, and Dustin was Michael's friend, and
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of cool bringing people in, that folks know here.
And we have Tom in shipping. He's new, and he
Yep.
knew Andrew.
Yep.
They work together. So make friends with our staff and you might get a job. That's a prerequisite.
Well, how many does that move us up to, Mallory? How many employees do we have now?
I knew you'd ask, so I looked it up before the podcast. We have 44.
40. That's more than we've ever had.
We had 43 before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how numbers work.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
For those of you who have never listened before, Mallory takes great pride in putting me on my place.
Just giving you a rinse. That's what they call it in the UK.
In England.
Yeah. What else have we been doing? I think that kind of covers. Well, we've been doing a lot of new product development and things like that. So we have some new products, Zack, if you want to cover some of those.
Yeah. So, well, we'll go kind of backwards and go to the newest first. And we have 2 new coilover shock spacers. You know, we call them coilover shock spacers or for a coilover or a shock. So this is going to be working for your classic 2-inch body shock. Which, let's pull that up. What bearing does that work off? I think it's a COM8 bearing.
Yeah.
Yep. Those fit any standard COM8 bearing. And with a 1.5 inch mounting width. So that's going to be, you know, your classic Fox shocks or your smaller series coilover from Fox or Radflow or King, any of the big companies. And then, then we got the 2.5 inch version as well, which is an little bit more offset or a little bit more of a misalignment versus a straight spacer. These ones have a little bit of injection into them. And yeah, that'll fit with the classic COM10 bearing. So that'll be all your bigger series before you get into like the 3s and the real monster size shocks. But, you know, a lot of people might be thinking, like, why the hell are you making that? You don't, you know, you're not even a shock manufacturer. Well, they're actually really a pain in the butt to get. They're generally not available from manufacturers of shocks.
And they're really easy for people to lose.
Yeah. And they're also really easy. If you ever had a box blow open from UPS or FedEx or anything like that, you're pretty much SOL when it comes to getting those parts back if anything is small and not bagged or taped to the main product. So those kind of situations happen. It sucks, but, you know, us making these should help a lot of people, especially shock builders, tuners, guys of that variety who go through a lot of those or are building custom one-off products.
I feel like anyone that's had coilovers knows that struggle.
Yeah.
Like,
you're going to lose one.
I literally remember when I had Kings and I kept like either dropping them, losing them, and I think while I was doing all my setup, I think I even took them off and just zip tied them somewhere so I wouldn't like
want to lose them
because you're constantly unbolting, bolting, and just test fitting stuff and cycling things, and yeah, it's like something I always had to keep in mind. So
well, it's kind of like why we made that 14-bolt spindle way back when, and people say, well, that doesn't, you know, get trashed all the time. People don't lose them; they're welded in. It's like people buy them, and then they drag it to their truck through the gravel at the wrecking yard and destroy the threads on it. I mean, it was something people needed.
Or you womp them out and, you know, totally banana that axle out. But then another one is a kit that's actually just 2 other kits put together. It's a radius arm kit with track bar. So that's just our standard radius arm kit. You know, you either love radius arm or you hate it. This is a complete version of that. So you either love it or you'll hate it. And they work great for your classic solid axle swap vehicles. You can, you know, a lot of people will drop that third link off when you hit the trail and have a little bit more articulation. But it's a great, simple kit. Build a good long arm or radius arm out of that with the panhard all in one.
Oh, and then people have been buying those for years too. They really like both of them.
Yep.
You get a lot of good reviews on those.
Yeah. And actually those, the link towers on those are actually being redesigned as well. So if you like link towers, they're going to look a lot better now. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, then we have another product that's been a long time coming. It is the Dodge 9 1/4 AAM axle. This is the 14-bolt model, which is the earlier one. So what is it, 03 to 09, something like that? Right after Dodge dropped the Dana 60, this is the one that came with the 14-bolt pattern.
And that is their front axle.
It is the front axle, yeah. Not to be confused with the 9 1/4 rear on the half tons.
Yes.
So yeah, this is classic RuffStuff cover, 3/8 shell, machined, absolutely flat, welded inside and out by our crew, 100% built right here in Loomis, California. And this one actually takes a 1/2-inch ring to space it up off the bearing caps.
And like all the other RuffStuff covers, it's guaranteed forever.
Yeah, it's a really good beefy cover for a housing that now is on a lot of pickup trucks that are getting into the second and third owners, you know, and getting more affordable to be able to acquire that Cummins engine. All right, and then the next product that we've recently released is a Jeep TJ, XJ, ZJ, and JK front bump stop spacer kit in 3 inches. So a little bit taller than the 1 and 2s we used to offer. We still offer those as well, but this is for all you guys a little bit more coil in there that need a little bit of an extension beyond what we already offered. And then kind of sticking on the JK train, as in, so that's one of the products or one of the models that was mentioned in there. We have the Dana 44 and Dana 30 steering stabilizer relocation diff covers. So this was a big hit for our XJ, ZJ, MJ, TJ, and LJ option. And a lot of you guys were asking for a JK version. So you asked, we listened, and we put one together for both the standard 30 and the Rubicon 44 model. So this is a sweet one that allows you to mount your steering stabilizer above your tie rod compared to the conventional below the tie rod setup that the JK has. And that mounts to the 1.5 inch tie rod with a big thick clamp. And so that keeps it in solid.
And that's got the option to get the Bilstein stabilizer with it, the very narrow diameter.
Yep.
Instead of a big white torpedo that is yet another thing in the way.
Yeah. Yeah. And so it tucks it up high. You get a really high-end stabilizer, which you get in one order. You get the whole package. You don't got to source anything else out on your own. And they're pretty sweet. And, just like all our covers, it's got that lifetime warranty. It's built to party. And they're pretty handy.
It's my favorite selling point. It's built to party.
Yeah, mine too.
Who doesn't want that? Switching gears, I want to know, if the people want to know, Dan, what have you been up to lately?
I haven't been fishing as much as I would like.
Isn't now the season for it's salmon, right? Where it's cold, really cold, and you go early in the morning.
But salmon are boring.
What's the difference between a salmon and a trout?
Trout, yeah.
One talks back, one doesn't.
Salmon
walked into a bar and said,
It's like, trout, get out of here.
Now, as salmon, you just throw it in. You've got some roe on it, and you bounce it off the bottom, and they think some eggs came loose somewhere, and they put them in their mouth to put them back on the ground somewhere. And you hook them, and you pull them up, and it's not much of a fight. The fight is they're heavy as hell. But I only eat salmon and sushi anyway.
So you like
and
a
that's
fish
not
that
like a lot.
you like a fish that plays hard to get, is what you're saying.
There you go. Trout are a lot more fun because they fight, they jump, or steelhead. And the steelhead have been running too, but I don't really get off from boat fishing. I like to wade and, I just fly fish. Mm-hmm. So wading is really more of a thing for me. And the Sacramento River or the American River, in some places they're more than a quarter mile wide, and it's just not as much fun as a tight little creek somewhere where you're, beating through the blackberries to get down to it, and then you've got to make perfect casts, and it's more of a challenge for trout. Where salmon is boring, steelhead is fun, but there's so few of them out there. It doesn't seem worth the effort. You go 5 days, you might catch one steelhead.
Yeah. Where have you been fishing lately?
Most recently, the Little Truckee, and I actually had a really good day and a half up there last week. In between the lakes, it was kind of odd though. I didn't catch any little fish, and I caught a lot of 15 to 18-inch fish. Well, for me, I mean like 5 or 7 a day. I'm not the greatest fisherman. I don't suck completely, but I'm not the greatest fisherman. So I was more than happy with that. But a lot of places this year have seemed, they had some kind of disease going through the hatchery. So where people went to take fish normally, where I don't normally go, but they were just fished out because they weren't restocking those areas. So they started hitting the places I go, and those places, they're not supposed to take the fish, and they were taking them anyway, or catch and release, but killing them when they catch them. So they've been pretty fished out too, and it's just like wherever I go, I just don't catch anything. And I go sometimes to some pretty remote places, like some of the places I go up on the McCloud River, which is about 3.5 hours, 4 hours north of us. They're remote. I mean, you got to beat through the blackberries, and they're fished out. And it's just not been a good year for that.
Yeah, it's been one of the...
So many people are out of work, they're fishing.
It's been a shame of a lot of people getting, back
crisis.
into outdoor stuff as they don't have jobs right now or didn't have jobs, is that they're
motorhome
they're all
boat
everywhere
sales are
now.
cleared out.
Yeah, I mean, you go to camping spots, you used to see nobody, and it's packed for miles. You know, you got people camping on the side of the road with U-Haul trucks full of brand new stuff from Costco.
I'm sure a lot of that has to do with like even the social distancing thing where we can't go to like an amusement like Disneyland, right? So you go get a trailer and you go camping.
Go camping.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's great that people are doing more outdoor things. But yeah, for those of us who are doing it all the time,
It's a pain in the ass.
it's pretty crowded. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. You have to go more and more and more remote to get away from people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not into that.
Interesting.
I hate it when the spot you've been going to, your secret spot, is now, marked on the Instagram and everybody knows where to find it.
Yeah.
Pretty much SOL.
Were you location tagging it Zack's secret spot? Because that's a giveaway.
No. Secret, stealth mode.
Yeah. Well, speaking of COVID, just an update. We're still wearing masks, still socially distancing, still cleaning like crazy, and we're still not taking walk-in customers, but just to protect our staff. But we are doing drive up and go, and I think that's a service that we'll continue to offer after this.
Yeah.
But we do plan this year to do a pretty fun socially distanced holiday card, because we've done a staff photo every year since I think 2015, maybe
Longer
earlier,
than that, yeah.
2014 or so. And so we're going to get out the drone, we're going to mark some X's, and we're going to take our masks off and take a photo. So, stay tuned for that on our social media. That's honestly the most exciting thing we have coming up.
It's funny to see that like across the country as far as the going back to like the drive up and go thing where we had to everyone had to adjust how they operated. And when you look at like anytime you get out of your comfort zone, you have to like maneuver.
Yeah.
And so there's growth with once you are put outside of that comfort zone. And I just think it's like kind of an interesting, funny thing how like it kind of forced us to grow in that direction, and that's actually like a lot of the company. Like we get like a growing pain that's actually like a good thing, because we just learned that we have to adjust these 5 things to be successful or to move on.
You got to be reactive to it.
Mm-hmm.
Make it work.
The things that don't really bother me are like the amped up cleaning, even though we already have custodians and things like that. I don't mind. Now I find myself cleaning my desk so much more, and I don't actually dislike that.
I think you have the cleanest desk here though already. Like
yeah,
before,
I know. But now I have like a special spray, and I'm like, this is kind of satisfying.
Well, that just means you start a project and finish it immediately, so it's not laying on your desk for days while you're working through it.
I know, but I don't mind like watching everyone clean all these door handles and like everybody.
Sometimes I'll go out of town and you'll clean my desk.
I know.
I love
should go
that.
out of town soon. I don't mind like everybody overly hand sanitizing.
we are in December actually, so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, don't get your hopes up. If you both go out of town at the same time, that's 2 offices to wrangle. But the socially distancing, not having staff meetings all together, I miss that stuff a lot. Like just the camaraderie of everybody gathering and whatever, even just like telling jokes or whatever. That's kind of like a bummer, and I can't wait to get back to that.
Yeah.
For those of you listening, every month we would have a company-wide staff meeting on the
We'd serve breakfast.
second Thursday.
Yeah. Serve
At
breakfast.
9:30 a.m.
and Get together and we read all the customer reviews from the previous month on website, on
Plus
Instagram.
some sweet trivia.
Yeah, we mixed in some trivia. I was just telling Ella about that the other day when the month that I told everyone I was pregnant, we did all the trivia baby related and nobody caught on. And then after I was like, I'm having a baby. And then actually Cody was like, I wondered why all the trivia was about babies.
The funny thing was, I think Dan was the one that like was given to,
You're right.
to tell everyone, right? Like didn't you like release it to everyone?
I think so.
Yeah. And I think everyone like looked at Dan,
Nobody
like,
believed
no one
him.
believed him. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just
Well, it's
thought you were-
almost 2 years ago. I don't even remember that.
But yeah.
Well, give us an update on Ava.
She's great. She's climbing everything.
She's 13 months old now.
Yeah, climbing trees, climbing the couch. Garett teaches her all the bad things, climbing the back of the couch.
And you try to correct her behavior.
Yeah, so she's wild. She's wild.
So what you're saying is Garrett's not a good father.
He's a wonderful father.
Okay.
He's just a loose-goosey father.
Yeah.
Mallory makes the rules. Garett breaks the rules.
I guess so.
Or bends them.
I don't know. I let her watch Sesame Street now, so
Well, that's cool.
yeah, the doctor
I
said,
like Sesame
don't
Street.
let her watch TV, and
Yeah.
it's okay. We also let her eat In and Out but
I did see that on the
delicious.
tray. She was having a great time.
Yeah. So, one thing that we didn't get a chance to recap on a couple previous podcasts because we had some guests was the success of Dan Day in August.
Oh, that was tremendous.
So our goal was to have our customers raise $5,000 and we would match the $5,000, and our customers actually raised $5,869 and we still matched the $5,000. So we had a total
almost
donation
$11,000.
check. Yeah,
that was a
for
big deal.
Shriners Hospital. We couldn't bring it in person this year and go do a tour because of COVID. So we just mailed them a check, but it was a really great, successful event. And despite our limitations, Zack still shaved your head.
That was wonderful. I needed a haircut anyway.
Yeah.
No, I haven't had a haircut like that since basic training, which has been a couple of years.
I would think so.
Maybe a few.
Since Nam. Back in Nam.
Hit the deck. But it was
I'm not quite that old.
It was a really successful event, and coming up, we plan to do our annual food drive for Christmas. So we're going to do it a little bit different this year. Zack, do you want to tell people what we're going to do?
As far as food drive plans?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are, actually, what is the goal that we're shooting for?
We're not collecting food. So normally we collect
That's
food
right.
and money donations. And then with the money, our marketing team and Zack and Garett and I, or kind of whoever we can rally, we would go out and spend the money that you guys donated to get to a certain weight limit of food.
And what was last year?
It was 1 ton.
Yeah, we were going for 1 tons.
And we did. We passed it. But this year, because of COVID, it's just the
They
constant,
just want
circling
cash
back.
to make
Yeah,
it.
they can't take food because they can't promise that I guess it will be sanitary or whatever.
Yeah, and if
Makes
that's what they
sense.
need, I get it.
Yeah.
I liked having, the Dana 60 of food drives, but this will be a good way to get, some help to some good families in need. And, if you guys have any money to spare, it is a great place to put it. Even $1, goes a long way to build towards a meal for a family. A lot of people out there are getting hit hard by all this stuff, and it sucks. And so anything you can do, someone down the line you'll never meet will definitely appreciate it.
What are we going to do? On the website, we'll have a choice. You can donate $1, $5, $10.
Yep.
Nothing too carried away. We're not asking for the moon, but I really think anyone can donate $1.
Yeah.
It doesn't cost you crap.
So that's what
It's
we're going to
$1.
do this year. And then we're going to, it's $1. Doesn't cost you more than $1.
Or crap.
Or crap.
Yeah.
So we're going to write a check at the end instead of doing the food, but we're still going to set a goal. I'm not clear where we're at for the goal yet, but we're going to figure it out.
That's going to be a lot easier on us.
Yeah, we won't have to grocery shop for it. It is stressful, and we were breaking it up into usually like 2 days of shopping.
It was crazy.
You're going to the grocery store and slinging a ton of food.
Well,
Yeah.
last year,
2,000 pounds of food is actually quite a bit of food.
yeah, the two
It doesn't
marketing
sound like
guys,
it, but
Michael
it
and
is.
Sean and I went to, I
Costco
think,
or something?
yeah, and we got like these, when you get canned goods, we got like cases and cases of canned goods. So, I mean, it was multiple trips and it's a lot of work, but it's super fun to go drop it all off and, know it's going to need families in need.
And, if you don't give to us, give to your local community.
Yeah, there's a real hunger crisis
There's needs
going on.
everywhere in the country right now.
Yeah. So that's what we have planned for that. And then also coming up is Black Friday. Who wants to talk about Black Friday?
It's going to be a banger, and it's going to be the best Black Friday sale RuffStuff has ever had, and our biggest sale of the year. So if you're ready to really party, get ready. That'll be around Black Friday.
We're also going to release some new apparel right by
Yeah,
then.
there's going to be a ton of new apparel coming out, and some killer prices as well. So
Actually, I just saw this boxes arrive yesterday.
pretty sweet, huh? Transition into some American-made apparel as well,
Yep.
which has been a big goal of ours. We were able to get something really, really badass, but I'm going to let it be a surprise because I'm pretty excited about it too.
Trying to do everything made in America.
Yeah.
Manufacture our products, get
Yeah.
our apparel, things. That's our goal.
Well, all of our plate products were always made in America and manufactured here, but getting them more in-house, I like
off.
to think we treat our employees very well. I mean, we've got a lot of employees that have been here more than 5 years, 15 or 20 almost? We've got 5 that have been here over 10 years now. And I think we treat our employees well. And as we can manufacture more products in-house, we can employ more people and treat them well. And we try to let them rise through the ladder here as much as possible. And
providing jobs that have a future to them is what it's all about.
Yeah,
you know?
something they can grow with.
Yeah. So I hate to interrupt, but we have a bunch of customer questions for you.
For me?
Oh, nice.
For you.
Okay. Are we live online or something?
No, guys
we
did the
had
other
the
day.
marketing guys post the other day
Oh,
a
okay.
Q&A.
Yeah,
Give me a
so-
question.
All right, get ready. What is your dream rig?
My dream rig?
The vehicle you always want?
FJ45.
Yeah, an FJ45 pickup, which we have two, which we will someday complete one at least.
Well, that kind of goes on the next question. I think it was from
It's a long bed, 65.
Wait, I was gonna say, yeah, I want to
pickup.
know, and what does that entail? You know,
kind of axles. What kind of
tires?
kind of
Okay.
motor?
It's going to be the Hellfire Knuckles on a FJ80 high pinion front axle.
Using rough stuff housings.
Using rough stuff housings front and rear. The rear will be a Tundra axle, the newer Tundra, which has what?
10.5.
I'm sorry?
10.5. Right
Yeah,
here.
the 10.5
Big guy.
ring and pinion, 36 spline from the factory at Toyota. Not sure what we're going to do for the outers there, but it's going to be possibly a Dana 60 to make it easy.
Yeah.
But they will be custom axles. We've got a tune port motor for it.
Oh no, we're selling that. We're gonna get you an LS.
Yeah.
I don't want an LS.
You want an LS? We're selling your tune
tune
ports.
port's nicer looking with the tube work on top. How about one of those SHO motors I've got?
You already said we were selling all those.
Yeah, we're
We
selling.
are?
all
They're
that.
already
we went-
gone.
Yeah.
I thought those were Mallory's old motors.
Yeah.
Either that, or we're gonna
From my
do
Barbie Jeep.
Cummins 2.8.
How much did we get for my SHO motors?
I don't know. I'll look it up.
Scrap metal?
No. Yeah.
And overall, it should be pretty neat. Not carried away. Something you can drive every day for 100,000 miles and not worry about.
What color?
I don't know about that.
Don't you like that kind of OD tan?
Yeah, the
color?
desert tan is
yeah,
a nice
desert
color.
tan. I think that would be a nice
I
color.
have to
for
have
you.
a white top.
It was kind of a factory FJ45
Yeah, it
color
was.
back in the
Yeah.
day,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
We saw a really cool one. Where did? Oh, we
Costa Rica.
Yeah, but we were in some dealership not that long
Oh.
ago. We went to the Toyota dealership.
Oh,
didn't
yeah,
we?
they had-
and
they
they
had-
had one in Roseville.
I think it was just a 40. I don't know if it was a 45, but yeah, they had like an
it
old
was
school.
really cool.
Was it for sale?
No,
No,
it was just a
it's
showroom
just
piece.
display. Yeah. But did we see one in Costa Rica too? I don't remember.
We saw. Well,
There's a lot of them in Central and South America still.
it was actually when we went whatever it was ziplining.
Yeah.
We rode in one. That truck we rode in was an FJ45,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
asked him about it. And he's like, everyone wants to buy this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Every
just,
American
like, normal
wants this
for
thing.
them.
Yeah, and he's like, we're not selling it. And
Greedy Americans.
but the one I was thinking of actually was a diesel version. I don't know if they're called FJ45s, but it looks just like a new version of a
The
FJ45.
Canadians.
Is it a Canadian one or
No,
something?
well, Canada has had a diesel option forever in those. And they stopped making them, I think, in 88 or 94.
Yeah, it looks like an 80s or 90s
I have to
rig.
ask
But there's a bunch of those.
George would know.
down there,
George Esther.
and they're
George
George.
Esterer. Yeah, he would know.
which is surprising that they don't. Maybe they don't pass emissions up here, but I'm surprised there's not more of them up here because they're whatever left-hand drive. They're normal. Like they're not gonna be like a right-hand like weird Australian or UK version. And
Yeah, those are Canadian.
and they can't be like that expensive, I would think, compared to like FJ45s who
I've
are
heard
20,
sometimes
30
they're hard
grand.
to import. That's all. I don't know. California's got a lot of different rules about import.
Yeah, I guess you gotta go to like
Yeah, when
Arizona
we had
or
Tim
something.
Scully on, he was talking about that, the year for cutoffs and stuff. I don't remember what they were.
Oh, that's
but
right. Yeah.
Every now and then it kind of rolls forward or something.
What kind of interior?
Oh, leather.
What color? Black?
Beige.
Corinthian.
no.
You can't keep it clean. Fishing?
Well, not beige, but
Like a tan?
a darker tan.
Oh, like the what was the color we were looking at for me? They were calling it.
Taupe.
I think it was.
I think it was camel.
Yeah. I think they were calling it camel.
Yeah.
Camel.
But
Although
it's
no,
nice.
I've got
Or
a couple
cognac.
of
Maybe
brand
it's
new
cognac.
10-year-old beard bucket seats I was going to put in it.
Boo. Don't they originally come with a bench seat or no?
Yeah, they
Get you
did.
some
But
Yeah.
it's not big enough for 3 people, not 3 adults.
It's
They're
about the
just
look.
too narrow.
You got to restore it the way it's supposed
No.
to be. All right, Zach.
I want to
what's
just
the
run it
next
with the
question?
top off and the windshield folded flat.
All right, so this one kind of falls back on the previous question. It's from, I think, Jimmy's Snail Trail 4x4. But What are you going to do with them FJ45 beds?
Did he see them when we gave him the tour?
Yeah.
Shout out to Jimmy. What's up?
Probably going to put them on that 45. Huh?
Well, one of them is brand new. I got it from Columbia because we got the other one. It's actually from Toyota Stout, which is, well, look it up.
Is that where
Stout.
that other bed came from? Is from a Stout?
Yeah, it was
Really?
in the wrecking yard down on Taylor.
No shit. That's even more rare than a 45 bed.
Yeah, but nobody likes stouts.
I do.
They're ugly as sin.
They're rad.
That's mean.
And no, they truly are. They're
No, they're
ugly
not.
as sin.
No, they're rad.
Dan's opinion, off the record.
But it's the stout's wheelbase. The wheel openings are 11 inches farther back, and we were going to have to alter the frame to use it for the 45. But it took a lot of labor. I mean, a lot of labor to bring it close to usable. And I found this 45 long bed in Colombia, or it was in, the guy was importing them from Colombia. It was $800 to import it and ship it. And they're pretty expensive, but you count the hours you put into the other one, and they were cheaper, and it's brand new. So I've got that bed, and it's going to be used. The other one, I don't know. I'll leave it up to one of you guys if you want to build a 45 someday down the road. Mine first.
Let Jimmy build it for you at Snail Trail.
Well, it's not for me because you remember the company's paying for it.
All right.
But we'll put a RuffStuff sticker on the door for at least 3 years.
Oh, good.
Yeah, and then I own it.
Good.
Yeah, all right. We'll see about that. So next question we have from a customer is, at what point did you decide to do RuffStuff full time? Because initially I know it was going to be a retirement business.
Well,
I mean, you are retired, I guess.
ish.
You worked your
I'm
way
only
but-
62.
back out of retirement and then back into retirement.
Well, it was when E-Trade gave you your severance, and then you said, okay, I'm going to use this money to
Well, no,
make
'cause
rough
when-
stuff, right?
We were just getting started, and I mentioned George and Jeff Ismail from George owns Valley Hybrids down in Stockton. He does primarily diesel conversions on Land Cruisers. And then Jeff Ismail, who owns a company, what is it called now? It used to be IH only. Now I think it's IH
Parts
America. Okay.
Yeah, IH Parts America. Grass
And he
Valley.
does all international parts, and they helped me develop a product line. There were a few others, but they were the primary ones. And then we got to talking, and we were selling well, wholesale only, and they suggested that I go retail for name recognition. And it was going to be a part-time business because I was fine just doing it myself, or, some punk kid helping me after school. That was Zack. Anyway, and they talked me into going retail, and we did. We never looked back. And I owned a 40 then that was in pieces, and it used to be together, and it's still in pieces 15 years later because we haven't really had the time or personnel to develop or to devote to that. Like a lot of four-wheel drive shops are always working on vehicles. We don't work on vehicles. We use our and employees' vehicles also to develop new parts, but
We just manufacture.
yeah, we're a manufacturer of parts, and it's hard to devote 3 or 4 months of a couple of people to build a vehicle from scratch, and that's where we're at. So that's why we started. And when we got busy, for the first year or so, it was just Zack and I. Then Garett came on, and then all of a sudden we got 44 employees.
Was not all of a sudden.
No, it was not all of a sudden. And Mallory had a huge part in that, getting us, correct in every way. And and about, is it 7 years now ago, I had a heart attack in
2015.
25 years ago. Okay. And Zack was marketing director, and Garett was the president. And I was out for 90 days. The state of California's workman's comp decided I can't come to work for 90 days until I'm recovered. And they just
You were
kinda,
so pissed about that.
I was, because I was fine after a week. But anyway, they stepped up and took over and did way better than I ever did at running the company. So I've been kind of retired since then, but I'd like to be more involved.
I think Garrett gave you a list of things to do.
He
like
did. I
2
haven't
weeks.
done very well on
How's
that
that
yet.
list looking?
It's looking the same. It's
Well,
still
then,
a list.
There you go.
All right, we're gonna
He
get on
told
to the
me
next
he
question.
reassigned them to Ella.
Yes.
All right, we're gonna get on to the next question before we go too far astray. If you could wheel anywhere in America, where would it be?
You know, I really love the north rim of the Grand Canyon. And it's really not hardcore wheeling. It's fire trails. It's just such a beautiful place. Lots of wildlife, elk and bears, mountain lions. But the view, you know, always park yourself close to the rim, and the view is just so spectacular. And I worked in the Grand Canyon for 11 years, but the North Rim is much nicer than the South Rim. The South Rim is just stuffed with people. The North Rim is still rarely visited comparatively. But there's 100 miles of trails, you know, going east and west of the main highway that leads to the North Rim.
Yeah.
And just that area, and then that whole southern Utah area, Zion, and everything that's out there is just amazing. It's fun. You know, it's probably mostly highway miles to get to places. But when you get there, it's just amazing to get off the road.
So you're looking for more just like a road trip.
Not really road trip, because, I mean, I like to camp every night. I like to go fishing every day, and I like to see the beautiful things. And it's a great place to go.
Would your FJ be an overland FJ with a tent, a rooftop tent?
More or less, because the bed is too small to carry anything and actually sleep in the back of it. Mm-hmm. Even if it's a long bed. The long bed back then was 6 feet long.
Can you climb up that ladder with your knees?
Barely. I'll crawl up. Yeah, barely. My knees are getting pretty painful.
Get you an escalator.
An escalator, yeah, that would work for me. I don't use a cane, but my knees hurt.
All right. Well, this one's a little bit of a quicker question. How do you take your coffee?
How do
Black.
I take my coffee?
Black.
Always black.
Always
From
black.
McDonald's is his favorite, but he also likes
Extra
Taco
hot.
Bell and Carl's Jr. black coffee.
I
right?
do like both of those, but
I know everything.
I also make coffee at home with a French press.
French
and-
press.
Yeah.
Oui,
There you
oui.
go.
And it's straight Colombian with a pinch
Of cocaine.
of Vietnamese, a pinch of Vietnamese cinnamon.
Oh, that's
Try
where
it.
do you get that at?
Where the hell did you find that?
Yeah.
I think I got that at the Asian market in Roseville.
Vietnamese cinnamon. I've never
It's tremendous.
heard of that.
It's a lot, much more aromatic, and it tastes very good.
So, what was the job? What was your job before you started RuffStuff?
I was a senior trader at E-Trade Securities for, well, I worked there, you know, as you move up the ladder, it's probably like 7 years, but I worked there for 10 and a half years.
At the end of your career there, like pretty close to before you left, what was a day in the life of Dan at E-Trade like? Like, what time did you show up? Was it like Hawaiian shirt day every day?
It was
I just can't
kind
picture
of.
you showing up to a desk on, did you have a boss who was
Is it like the Wolf of Wall Street?
were you on time? I have so many questions. What'd you bring for lunch? So many questions.
I didn't bring anything for lunch. I ate out every day. I was always on time. I was actually early, usually,
Did you
by
have
about
to
a
wear
half
a
hour.
tie or was it casual? Like
No, it was
jeans?
casual. It was not Wall Street, although we did do, at one point, we were doing 8% of the trade executions in the world.
Were you guys in cubicles, like in a big shared room?
We were in very short but very broad cubicles. Everyone had multiple computers. We were not the guys that talked to customers.
Oh, I just pictured you with a headset on all day.
Oh, I
talking
had a
about
headset
fishing.
on all day, but I was talking to people on the street, you know, our execution traders or corresponding traders. I was talking to Wall Street or Canada or Hong Kong or wherever. But I would get in the office at 4 a.m.
Ooh.
and I lived an hour away. And I went to bed at 10 o'clock. So I
You
had
always-
about 2.5 hours sleep every night.
You always watched stocks before you went in, too. I remember that.
Oh, yeah. I had all the TVs on. I had the radio on. Because you got to stay up with it. You have to know what's going to happen. And sometimes it meant I had to rush and get there early.
Yeah.
Because I just knew this was going to anticipate a flood of trades.
Keeping up with the East Coast on the West Coast.
Yeah, I
too.
mean, we
That's a
worked East
challenge.
Coast hours in California.
Yeah.
And so the market opens at 6:30 in California. And you got to get there, when you're making sure all the trades get to market, you have to be there about 4 or 4:30.
Did you bring a briefcase?
I've never owned a briefcase. I would never.
I think of that scene on Seinfeld where Kramer gets a job for like a week in his briefcase. Terry's like, "What's in there?" And he's like, "Just Ritz crackers." And he opens it and it's just tons of rolls of Ritz crackers.
No, that wasn't me. No, but I never wore shorts. They wouldn't let you do that.
That's not a bad
Did
thing.
they have?
I wore sandals quite a bit,
I'm
and
sure
I had a
everybody
beard.
loved that.
I had a long beard, and I
Nothing
had
like
long
some
hair.
jeans and sandals.
Did you guys have like company happy hours and parties? Because I think Garrett's dad worked there with you.
Yeah.
I thought he said there was a lot of socializing
There was a
Yeah.
lot of socializing. I don't want to say there was well, actually, my group, there were 16 of us in the trading department. And we'd go play golf in the afternoon because we got off
By
at
2.
like 1:30.
Yeah.
The markets close at 1. We weren't necessary anymore. So we'd wrap it up and be out of there by 1:30. And in the summertime, you can go play 18 holes of golf before it gets dark.
Yeah.
But we just go to the cheap places and beat 9 holes out, and nobody did any good. We weren't like golfers. We just hit balls around.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, and we'd bring a bunch of beers. It was a good time.
Were you sad when you left, when they moved and you didn't want to move with them?
Well, they moved to Chicago. I went to train my replacement, and I was there quite a while. Actually,
Oh, you went there to train them there?
yes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, I was there 5 weeks.
Oh.
But, everyone tells me I was just extremely lucky because when I was in Chicago, it was April and May, the end of April and most of May. And it was beautiful weather. It sprinkled a couple of times. There was no snow. There was no cold. There was no hot. It was just beautiful weather the whole time I was there. And I just always heard the
Winters
April
and-
storms in
Yeah.
Chicago and things like that. And it's just like, yeah, I brought every piece of clothing I owned because I'd lived in California forever. And it was beautiful the whole time I was there.
Good.
But
All right, next one. Quick one. Boxers or briefs?
Oh,
boxers or briefs, I don't know what they call them now. I get those Hanes things that are kind of
In
boxer-ish length, but they're kind of snug and cotton.
those
I
are
think they call
briefs.
them
Those are
boxer
called
briefs.
Yeah, or boxer briefs.
Okay, they're boxer briefs. I
So
wear
a little
both.
bit of both.
I
Thank
wear
you
them both
for
at the same
asking.
time.
Yeah, it's layered.
Yeah. All right. Next one is, what started the drive for you to want to start this company?
I was building a Land Cruiser with my son, Zack. And I ordered parts from 3 different companies. Well, 2 different companies. The third one I ended up not buying anything from. But I got parts. I ordered them on the phone, shipped them to me, and they were for a Land Cruiser. And anyone who's worked on a Land Cruiser knows that the frames were the same from 57 to 84. Everything about them was the same. And I get a part from a company that's been in business 20 plus years, and they're laser cut parts, and the holes are off. And I mean not a shave, but like 3/16 of an inch. And I call them about it because I'm not an idiot. I know it's just laser cut. You can just spend 5 minutes and move that hole to where it's supposed to be. And they tell me, oh, it's not a big deal. You just, die grind a little out and make it fit. And I asked him, how long you been making this? He said, oh, I don't know, 15, 20 years. And I said, in that time, you haven't found 5 minutes to fix it? And he says, oh, well, you just take a die grinder. It's no big deal. And then I got another part from another company. It was the same way. It didn't fit, and it was laser cut, and there's no challenge to make it right. And then I called another company, and the guy advertised somewhere that they made this product or sold this product, and they were the best, and they were the cheapest, and ask us any questions. If you need any information, give us a call. So I called him, and after about 3 minutes of talking to him, he says, so what do you know about this product? I'm not going to mention the product or everyone want to know who he is. And I said, well, wait a minute. You expect me to buy these from you? He says, oh, yeah, we're the cheapest. And this guy's like a sarcastic idiot and just an ass. And he thinks I'm going to bow and say, yes, you're the boss. I'll buy it. And I told him, well, after the service I've gotten in the four-wheel drive business, I know I can do better, and this is what I'm going to do in my retirement. Because I had already got notification that they were going to close down the site and move to Chicago, and I didn't want to go because my son was here. I'm not from California, but I've lived here now 28 years, and I was not going to leave. So I told him, this is what I'm going to do in my retirement. Thank you very much. And for about 5 years, once a month, I'd send him an email and thank him for getting us in this business. And at the time, he made a lot of the parts that we sell. Now he buys those parts from us, and he doesn't make anything in that realm. And it's just kind of interesting. That's how life goes. But it's been 15 years now, come February, that we've been in business doing this, fabrication parts.
You're from North Dakota?
Oh, hell no.
Where are you from?
Nothing against North Dakota. It's cold up there.
Somewhere. I thought you were from somewhere.
I'm from Detroit.
Oh, Detroit.
But when I was 10, we moved to Phoenix.
I was just thinking about snow. Doesn't it snow in Detroit?
Oh, a lot.
Yeah.
But when I have a brother and a sister with pretty bad asthma, and back then they said if you had any asthma, you should move to Phoenix because the dry heat is good for you. And both of them, their asthma got better, but that's what they told everybody. And now there's like 100 million people in Phoenix. But I I joined the Army at 17, went to Europe, lived in Germany most of the time. And then the day after I got out of the Army, I started college in Northern Arizona University at Flagstaff. And I stayed there for a long time. I love Flagstaff. And then I was a river guide in the Grand Canyon.
All right. Next question we have is, how do you see the market changing with easily modified vehicles getting older and older? It's a good question.
It is a good question. And that's a question that you and Garett are going to have to think pretty hard on, especially with the oncoming onslaught of electric vehicles, how that might affect things. But I don't think it's a real issue because, well, in some states, there's a lot of legislation holding back any changes you might want to do, like wheel size and bumper heights and things like that. But you can modify a new vehicle. You look at all the JKs. I mean, they're brand new and they're getting huge modifications.
Are you talking JLs nowadays?
Now JLs,
yeah.
But yeah. So, I mean, they're still modifying whatever comes out. I think everyone's always going to want to make their vehicle special.
Yeah, I definitely think there'll be less and less vehicles that are easy to modify as time goes on.
It could be less easy, but I think it'll still happen.
Most definitely. All right, next question is I want some Dan life wisdom.
Treat everybody well, and hopefully that's what you'll get in return.
Oh, yeah. I like that. Well, that's about all of them. We weren't able to get all the questions, but thanks for everybody that sent questions in. Kind of surprised how many questions we actually got. So sorry if we didn't get to your question. We weren't able to get through all of them, but definitely thank you everybody who sent them in via social media.
Cool.
Oh, there is actually one more topic, is plans for the future. It's just make more things.
More manufacturing, yeah. So
Yeah.
we kind of touched on that a little bit about making as much as we can here in the U.S. or just in our facility. But our long-term, strategic goal is to just keep making as much as we can, and again, or make that here in the U.S. I think that's something that's important to our country, and again, also just employing people. Versus sending those jobs overseas and sending that money overseas to a different economy versus producing.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps everything up, unless you guys got anything you want to touch base on.
I don't. You can always shoot us an email at podcast@RuffStuffSpecialties.com if you have any input or anything you want us to go over, anything to talk about, any questions.
Yeah, definitely send your questions in. That was cool.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Appreciate you tuning in. So till next time.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
Have a good one.
Thanks.